so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and it's a lot going on in these Potomac streets, and I want to talk about it. We need to talk about it. Honestly, we don't need to, but I want to. So in this video, we're going to be talking about Mia. She decided to reactivate her Twitter, as well as she was beefing on the internet with Jacqueline's niece. It's a lot going on with Mia. Then we're going to talk about Monique's response to the altercation that happened between Mia and Wendy, as well as Candace's rebuttal to Monique's response. And we're also going to talk about Candace and how she is still feeling about what Giselle is alleging or saying about her husband. And there's a rumor going around that Chris might be trying to sue. So we're going to read that article too. So we got a long video. Get your snacks. So let's get into it. Y'all. So let's start off with the drama with Mia. So a Twitter page called @YouCraveRisha popped up on Monday, and this person was claiming that they were Jacqueline's niece and basically voicing their opinions about their disdain for what Mia has been doing to her aunt Jacqueline. The girl or the woman felt like, how dare you disrespect my aunt in this way, and she wanted the people to know. Well, if you don't know, Mia deactivated her Twitter on, I think, like either Sunday evening or Sunday night after the episode premiered on Sunday, or she did it Monday. Either way, the page was gone. And I checked on Monday and it wasn't there. She recently reactivated it this morning, and I'm filming this on a Wednesday, but then deactivated it 3 hours later after the way y'all wrapped that lady up again. When I tell y'all wrapped that lady up and sent her on her merry way, y'all was not having it. Y'all were not having it with her statement that she gave out before she deactivated her Twitter. I think Mia was live, like her Twitter was reactivated for only maybe like 2 or 3 hours, and then by the time, because I think when I took the screenshot of her statements, that was around 9 o'clock. And then by the time I got back on around 12, it was deactivated again. So I think within the span of maybe 2 or 3 hours, y'all was like, no ma'am, girl. No ma'am. We what is this? And then I went on Instagram to see what she had to say, which I saw a lot of people alluding to, like maybe Mia's gonna take the Monique Samuels route, where Monique claims and swears that she was offered a position back, and I think she actually was, to be like, I guess, demoted, like a friend of the show, and she chose to walk away from Real Housewives of Potomac. But Mia is throwing out like words and making statements where it seems that she's probably going to do that if Bravo offers her a chance to come back and gives her the Portia treatment, where she is demoted and a friend of, and then maybe work her way back into the cast. But who knows? We'll see. Let's move. Let's talk about it. So let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Mia going back and forth with, we're not even going back and forth. This was a post and delete, and I got this from the page Bravoleta or Bravoletta. It's an Instagram page. I'll drop their information below. They also have a Twitter account if you want to check them out and subscribe or follow. And like I said, this is coming from the girl. Her page name is called @YouCraveRisha, and she said this: "It's actually ridiculous that Mia is dogging my Aunt Jacqueline like she didn't have to come live with us for years. #RHOP. You had nothing of your own, sis." Then the lady goes on to say, "My mom has been nannying for Mia the last year or so, literally watching Mia's kids, cleaning Mia's home. Meanwhile, Mia was plotting on my Aunt Jacqueline the entire time. Keep it cute, sister girl. We know the real you." And she gave, like, a kissing face emoji. So like I said, this was a post and delete from Mia. She had it on her Insta story, but she deleted it like a couple, I think they said maybe a few minutes after she posted it, because I think people were getting it in her ass, as well as I think she realized she was just adding more gasoline to the fire that was brewing. well, no, it's already in the brewing. The fire that was like, she was just making it worse, pretty much. I don't know where the euphemism goes, but she was making it worse. So Mia said this. She said, "This period is why you don't help people. I employed your mother. Why? Because she is a recovering addict. You describe who deserves a second chance. Mind you, she quit because Jacqueline had a hissy fit like a spoiled child who always has to run home and move in mommy. Make it make sense. Keep messing with me and I'll share the nanny cam and file a complaint of your mother sleeping on the job and taking smoke breaks, leaving my kids unattended. Don't start none, won't be none. Ungrateful country Bama living in a trailer in the backyard." So that was a post and delete for Mia's Insta story. So someone asks the girl, like, "Girl, are you really Jacqueline's like niece, or is this just for play?" And a page by the name of How You See It podcast decided to ask her. This page says, "She's your real life aunt or your Twitter aunt?" And the girl goes on to say, "She's my mother's sister, my grandmother's daughter. Whatever equation makes it make sense to you." And then they responded by saying, "Oh, okay." She also went on to say, "Oh, and let me clarify, on these 12 acres of land that my family owns, there is not a damn trailer in sight. My friends and family can verify. We have a pool girl, shoe fly." And then it ended out with this. She said, "I want you all to know that I am totally okay with Mia bringing up the fact that my mother is in recovery. LOL, my mother has been sober for years and I am endlessly proud of her journey to recovery." So that was Mia versus Jacqueline's niece. So at first I was with a couple of people who were like, "Do you really know if this is really the girl?" But the fact that Mia responded and then she did a post and delete, and then when she clarified who she was, I actually think this really is Jacqueline's niece. And Mia responding to it just gives it more credibility that like some of the things that she's saying probably did happen, because you responded and then you deleted it. So my thing is, Mia doesn't make sense. She really doesn't make sense, because when she add the bit about recovery in there, all I could think about is how everybody was up in arms with Candace saying "yo mama" to her, and then Mia saying, I think she had a conversation with someone where she was like, "If my mom relapses or is her recovery is compromised because of her, I'm gonna beat her ass. That's on her." You know, as a response to Candace saying "your mama," and it's like everyone was up in arms for Candace saying "your mama," and Mia saying what she said about like if her mom relapses, it's Candace's fault. But in this response to this girl, you bring up her mother's sobriety. So it's like you really don't care about anybody's recovery or sobriety, because if you were that, like if it really meant that much to you and you were really put off by what Candace said, then you would have never used that as a dig to somebody else. I just think Mia is stupid at times. Like I said, Mia is funny, and it's in like and you kind of want to like her just a little bit because she does things, and like I said in my review, I find certain things that Mia does comical and kind of funny, but then she messes it up by actually showing the nastiest parts of herself, and then you like, man, girl, I can't even really laugh with you, because that was just not needed. Even if you wanted to respond to the girl, you could have taken out the recovery thing and just brought up the whole thing about her mama sleeping on the job, if that really did happen, and leaving your kids unattended. There was no need for you to take it that step further. Mia just slow. She's just slow. This also lets me know, like, when people get on reality TV or even become famous, you really never know who don't really mess with you. People can see you actually doing well, but the moment you do bad and they got some dirt on you, oh, they gon' throw it out there. They really is. And granted, I do think the way Mia has been treating Jacqueline has been uncalled for, but watching episode 7 made me realize that I feel like their relationship is that they talk negatively about each other to other people and they throw jabs at each other. Because when Mia left the table and Jacqueline said her statement of like, I wouldn't be friends with her if like we met each other when we were older, you don't tell people that you just met that about your friend. So that to me means like both of y'all got sneaky traits and your friendship is just trash. Your friendship is just built on trash and y'all fronting in each other's faces. So let's move on to Mia reactivating her Twitter. So Mia reactivated her Twitter. And like I said, y'all wrap that lady up. Y'all wrap that lady up the moment she reactivated that Twitter. So she made this statement and she said, reactivating to say, my actions towards Wendy was intolerable. It's unfortunate that you all will attack my family, friends, and businesses based on an edited TV show. While I was committed to drama and entertainment, I must do what's best for my brand and partners. Much love, Mia. And then an hour later, she said this: I take full accountability. I was wrong. No one deserves to be treated with disrespect. I am sorry I let you all down. And then she deactivated her Twitter again. So here's my thing with that. I feel like Mia thought by saying this was gonna like calm the storm, and it just added more fuel to the fire because people weren't taking this. Granted, do I think her family should be attacked? No. I think it's crazy how invested certain people get with these reality shows. And yeah, I'm saying this, and I have a channel based off of my opinions and takes on reality shows that I review. But when I say that I feel like some people are very invested, is to me responses that I sometimes get from you guys in the comments from other people that aren't even subscribed to me, and people that I've seen go and attack them and send death threats. This is a reality show, y'all. Like, it is an edited show, and granted, you choose to act that way, even if it is edited. No one told you to throw a drink at Wendy. No one told you to hit her with your purse and you breaking 3 nails. No one told you to do any of that. You chose to do that. So to try to blame it on an edited show doesn't mean that you're taking accountability. Honestly, all Mia had to post was the second statement: I take full accountability and I was wrong and no one deserves that disrespect and I'm sorry I let you down. Honestly, she ain't let me down because, ma'am, last season you threw lettuce or salad at Candace because she was verbally wrapping you up again. And so it's like you can't let me down because this is who you are technically. Like, we don't really know you, but we know enough of what you have shown us, and it ain't that great because this is your second time of you throwing food or drinks or an object at someone. You threw salad, now you throwing through drinks, and now you're hitting people upside the head with your purse. Like, you let yourself down. You didn't let any of us down, but well, I'll say you didn't let me down because I'm not really a fan of Mia, but you didn't let me down because we've seen what you do. Like, that's what it is. I just feel like, girl, I don't know. I think Mia thought if she did this would help, and it really didn't help because people were like, apologize to Wendy at Wendy's name. I also feel the whole like, don't attack my family. Like, no, they shouldn't be attacking your family. But when Robin posted that, Robin posted on her page about people sending her death threats after the situation with Wendy, where she didn't invite Wendy's kids to the field day. And Mia was in the comments being like, oh, somebody go tell Wendy's cousin to calm down. So it's like, you can throw these jabs like you were upset about Candace saying yo mama and then talking about sobriety, like at people, but they can't throw them back at you. And now I'm not saying that people should be sending her death threats. No, and no one should be threatening violence against her. To any of these women. I don't like half the cast on here, but I don't think this is that serious where y'all should be doing any of that. And even if it was that serious, y'all, you still shouldn't be doing that because y'all act like people can't get sued or placed in jail for sending threats of this nature. Y'all acting like people can't pull up IPS addresses. Y'all got to chill out with that. But yeah, I don't think this really didn't help her. It really did not help her. It really didn't. So I went to her Instagram and I was just like, I wonder, like, what she got to say on Instagram. So the last post she posted was this, and it says, I had to make you uncomfortable, otherwise you would have never moved. And it's saying this is a saying from God, which is not, but a lot of people use it. And then the caption underneath it was, next chapter. So then I went to her IG and she reposted these two statements. And this one says, the truth is, everyone is going to hurt you. You just got to find the ones worth suffering for. And this was a quote from Bob Marley. Then she reposted the same statement of, I had to make you uncomfortable, otherwise you would have never moved, and saying that this came from God. She then added to this post that she posted on her IG story by saying, when you had to fight your whole life to make it out, you no longer remain in places that bring out what you worked so hard to overcome. For the sake of my family, my friends, for the sake of my children, my family, friends, staff, and business partners, I have to move on. And that was it. So here's the thing. This has gotten people to think like, okay, is Mia really like about to leave Potomac? And I don't know. I really don't know. My thing is, I don't know if Mia's going to get demoted, or like I said, or is she going to do the Monique thing where she's offered a place back and then she doesn't come back and move on? Because if you make statements like this, like, for the sake of my family, I got to move on from this, like, that leaves people to believe that, like, oh, you about to pull out, like, or you feel like you're, to me, I feel like Mia's trying to jump the gun of like, yeah, I'm backing out now, just in case they really don't offer her a contract come time for the end of the reunion. Because someone posted that she did the same thing like this on Twitter at last season 6, and it's around the same time. It's in November. It was on November the 12th, 2021. And she said this, responding to someone else's comment, where she was like, I'll answer this one. Because we, G and I, don't feel this platform was adding value to our lives, we don't do nasty drama. I should have watched seasons 4 and 5. I thought I was signing up for Housewives of Beverly Hills vibes. I prefer to keep it classy. Which is comical for me to think she classy. Because since season 6, you've given very much like, you know, I'm not even going to say that because that's not nice. That's not nice. Not even going to say that because that's not nice. That's not nice. But either way, Mia did that last season when we all thought she wasn't coming back. Like, there was rumors going around that Mia allegedly was not coming back for season 7. And then all of a sudden, the whole, like, I might have cancer, John Hopkins storyline popped up. And then she was singing a different tune. So this, that tweet gives me reminiscence to what she just, her previous, the thing I read about her story about for the sake of my family, I have to move on, is giving me the same. It's giving me the same as this. Like, that's the same thing. Like, I think she's trying to get ahead of this before they tell her, like, yes, sis, we not bringing you back. You might want to move on and find something else to do. That's what that's giving me for this. But that's all I have for Miss Mia. I don't know if Mia coming back. I don't know if Mia's going to leave or get demoted. Either way, I think it would be best for Mia to keep her Twitter deactivated and limit the comments on her Instagram until probably the end of this season. Because I saw next episode, the first 7 minutes, and the energy she gonna be having for Karen, them Karen stands is gonna be in her ass. They gonna be in her ass come time she start feuding with Karen. So yeah, if I was her, keep it deactivated, sis. Keep it all the way deactivated. So let's move on to Monique and Wendy. All right, y'all. So, like I said, we're moving on to Monique and Wendy. So, Monique gave an exclusive to the Neighborhood Talk. I don't know why. Basically, giving her 2 cents about the altercation that happened on Real Housewives of Potomac. So, the caption goes, or the name of the article goes, Monique Samuels says she told Wendy Osefu that her and her family would be next on the hit list. Claims some of the women are real life miserable. She had every right to defend herself. So, this is what it says. It goes, during Mia Thornton and Wendy Osefu's altercation, Wendy name dropped Monique to call out Giselle Bryant's hypocrisy of condoning violence in this situation, but condemning Monique for fighting against Candace Dillard in season 5. Monique claims that though she doesn't watch the show, she's not surprised at some of the ladies' actions. She says that she applauds Wendy for keeping her composure, but she told her at season 5 reunion that she would be next for ridicule, and lo and behold, she was 100% correct. I don't know the entire story, but I applaud Wendy for not getting physical as she did after I was hit in the face with a glass. She said exclusively to THNH, she had every reason to defend herself after being splashed in the face and then apparently hit with a purse. She chose to use her words instead. One thing Wendy said to me back in Karen's home was she would never get physical, and she used her words. And she would use her words. Clearly, she lived up to that statement in this moment. I told her at season 5 reunion, she and her family would be next. The hate with some of these women is not for the cameras. They real life miserable. Oh, one thing Wendy should understand that it's not about her actions or lack thereof. She could have sat there quietly and they still would have found a reason to ice her out. The same ladies who told me words or even antagonizing someone is not grounds for getting physical and defending a person who got physical over Peter Thomas. LOL, just wow. So here's my thing. Well, you know what? We're getting to Candace. So, OMG, not OMG, Jay's reality blog retweeted this on Twitter about the statement I just read for you. And Candace responded underneath this by saying, this bitch is still ... No one hit you with a glass. Let the lie go. And she right. So here's my thing about this whole situation. And like I've been saying, Monique and Mia are the same person. Monique and Mia are the same person. Wendy got wrapped up verbally and Mia couldn't handle it. Monique got wrapped up verbally by Candace and couldn't handle it. And Monique stay lying. Like she rewrites history the same way Mia does. Ma'am, you said you don't watch the show, but by the end of the statement, you said the fight was all over Peter Thomas. You opened this by saying, I don't know the entire story, but I applaud her for not getting physical as I did. Then you end the statement by saying, getting physical or defending a person who got physical over Peter Thomas. LOL, just wild. So if you don't know what this is about, then you just told on yourself. You just told on yourself that you do know what it's about, and you said it was over Peter Thomas. This is why I can't. This is why I can't with this lady. Because it's like you're trying to rewrite history and you can't. As well as Candace didn't hit you in the face with the glass. And I'm going to feed in the clip. You two were going back and forth and there was a table in front of you. She stepped closer to the table. You were doing this. She responded by doing the same thing. You said, don't put your hands in my face. She said, you don't put your hands in my face. Then you proceeded to touch her hair flip her hair, and then she was like, "You gonna drink?" She was like, "You want me to drink?" You said, "Do you want me to drag you?" And she said, "You gonna drag me?" And then you proceeded to yank her across the table while she had the wine glass in her hand. And if you got hit with it, it was to defend herself. And low key, high key, you deserved it after yanking her off across the table. What is not connecting in your head, ma'am? This is why I don't get y'all Monique stands. It's one thing. That's why the tree huggers may be crazy when it comes to Teresa, but they will tell the truth when Teresa be tripping, because Teresa has gotten physical a couple of times and they admit to her physicality. Y'all always try to rewrite history by saying like, oh, she got hit in the face with a glass, oh, she threw a drink in her face, when we have visual proof that this lady did not do that Candace did not do that. Monique could not handle and the thing about it, Candace really didn't even wrap her up. Candace said, "We're asleep, I'm bored, because what you're talking about are your issues with me. They're stupid and I'm asleep. They're stupid and I'm bored with it." You got that upset and you initiated contact first, because until she got that close to the table, your hand was doing this, her hand was doing this. When she got closer to the table, you flicked her hair several times, and then proceeded to grab and yank and pull. What are we talking about? You didn't get hit in the face with a glass. Monique does this all the time. She's a clout chaser. She is such a cloud chaser, bruh. Because when BravoCon was going on and everyone was excited and enjoying the online presence of people being there and talking about how much they were having a good time, and then the Real Housewives of Potomac panel came up, why did you have to bring up? Because y'all can't tell me that wasn't a plant or a scheme between Monique and Ashley to talk about her supposedly getting a divorce from Chris, or her and Chris separating. And then they hop on the internet. She's showing her ring. Chris is in the video. Then they did several lives about it, which wasn't needed. Which was not needed. Now you're trying to attach yourself to this because, ma'am, if you're above this show, because I reviewed Love and Marriage DC, and every so often she brung up how this show was so much better, so much more elevated than Potomac, and how you don't even really care about what was going on Potomac. Why do you feel the need to add in your 2 cents? Why do you feel the need to give an exclusive? And even if they propositioned you for an exclusive, if you really were past this and above it and you didn't want to attach your name to this, you would have moved on. Definitely would have moved on, but you haven't. Y'all can't tell me this lady has not consistently been watching Real Housewives of Potomac since she left. You can't, because she gives that. She gives that. When it comes on, she's sitting down and watching with all of us. She got a burner account making comments about everybody, because you can't tell me she doesn't. You cannot tell me she doesn't, because you told on yourself in this statement. You don't really know what's going on, but by the end of this statement, you said the fight is all over Peter. You know what's going on. You know what's going on, because you sit with us, like all of us, on Sunday night and watch this show, or Monday morning on Peacock. Girl, go on. And Candace responded. I wish Candace didn't respond. I really wish. But then I think about it and it's like, this lady physically assaults you, and then she lies about it, and then she allowed people to gaslight you, and she helped fuel the fire of people sending you death threats. Yeah, every time that lady would speak on me, I would say things too. I wish Candace wouldn't, but then again, I'm not going to fault her too much for saying anything, because if it was me, I would put a name on it. When I tell you, I would at her every time and would tell her to shut the up real quick. Every time that would be me. Because once you cross that line of putting your hands on me, or you do me harm in that way, girl, on site, every time you breathe funny, I'm talking about you. That's just what it's gonna be. You could take a deep breath and I just be like, your mama. Like, I would just be, because once you hit me, or once you harm me in that way, you have violated me. You have violated my space and my form of comfort, or how I feel. Yes, sis, it's whatever. Like I said, I wish she wouldn't have responded. But I understand. I understand. Okay. I understand. And then for everyone saying like, oh, I like Monique's such a big person because she's speaking up for Wendy when Wendy didn't speak up for her. Why would Wendy speak up for her during season 5? Wendy didn't even know Monique during season 5. She didn't even know that lady during season 5. The person that she was the closest to was Candace. So why would she not ride for her friend? As well as I found that clip of that lady of Monique saying that colorism didn't exist on that show. And I'm going to feed that in for y'all.
Do you ladies think there is any colorism to blame for why people on social media are constantly calling Candace and Wendy, for that matter, aggressive?
Why are you looking at me, Wendy? No, I'm looking at all of y'all. Don't look at me. I'm looking at all of y'all to just to hear what your answer is. I'm aggressive. I'm called aggressive. I'm aggressive. Like, it has nothing to do with color. It's about judging the actions at that particular moment. I think that there's a history of certain words that are inflammatory that are often targeted and used for women. I think it's very interesting that Ashley continuously uses buzzwords. She says aggressive. Ferocious. She calls ferocious. A conversation that you initiated in an aggressive manner. Ashley, I just want you to know, after you use those terms with me, how many people inbox me, DM me, I don't know if you've ever gotten it, calling me all types of names, you bitter black bitch. When you use those terms, understand that it's a nod and a wink to certain people to say, this is what we're calling these women. Okay. I'm sorry, I did not know that aggressive and ferocious were just called black women. It has nothing to do with the black race, and that's about who you esteem. If you're all seeing the population and you are putting them in the
pedestal and
allowing them to determine who you are as a black woman, that's not enough.
If you're doing something that's trying to incite a fight, Wendy, that was aggressive to me.
We have to be aware the weight that our words carry and how it's perceived.
Thank you, Robin.
I will never refer to a brown skin or dark skin woman as aggressive because of her skin tone.
There has to be a level of accountability to say, yes, I may not think that there's colorism, but I have a level of accountability as a fair skinned person not to use certain terms.
That's not really related to the word choice that I use.
You always do it, and I'm putting you on notice.
I was like, I knew I wasn't crazy that that lady referred to herself as Caramel, because on the reunion, the topic of colorism came up, and Monique basically tried to overtalk Wendy when Wendy was trying to talk about it. Then she called herself Caramel Skin and said that nothing on this show has anything to do with race, which that's not what colorism is. She said the color is not that big of a deal, but she retains that she's caramel skin tone. So I'm confused as to why we need to know what your skin tone is and why you don't think colorism exists. But now all of a sudden you over here trying to fan the flames of it with your comments. But that's y'all fave. That's y'all's fave. Okay. Okay. All right, y'all. So this video is getting long, but we're almost at the end of the road. So this is going to be out about if Chris is going to sue Ashley and Giselle. So I saw that floating around on the internet, and it was like, oh, I heard Chris is going to sue Giselle for defamation. So I hit the Google and I found this article that's posted, dated November the 20th, 2022, and it's by the Reality Blurb. I'll link the article below, and it says RHOP's Chris Bassett reveals if he'll sue Giselle Bryant for defamation, why he believes Giselle's claimed he made her uncomfortable, and live in viewing. So it goes, Candace Diller Bassett's husband, Chris Bassett, revealed if he had plans to sue Giselle and Ashley Darby during a recent IG Live after the women accused him of inappropriate behavior on The Real Housewives of RHOP. After Giselle suggested Chris made her uncomfortable during the private conversation they had in her dressing room at season 6 reunion, Ashley accused Chris of sending her a late night DM and flirting with one of her friends. Chris took to social media where he answered a question regarding potential litigation. And he said this, "Can I sue them for defamation? I'm not suing. I'm not a litigious person," Chris confirmed on IG Live via Urban Bella. "I'm not going to sue anybody." He said, "I'm not going to sue anybody. Am I angry? Am I upset about it? I am." In addition of facing claims both from Giselle and Ashley, Chris was also accused of staring at Mia Thornton at Karen Huger's Spring Bling event, which she has since backtracked on. And because he encouraged the friendship between Candace and Ashley and felt that Giselle was a friend of his wife, Chris feels he's being betrayed by both RHOP cast members. However, when it comes to Giselle, he believes that the claims she made against him were the result of the trauma she sustained amid her past marriage with to Jamal Bryant. After seamlessly being questioned about whether or not he believes Giselle can't find a man, as rumors have suggested, Chris said that what Giselle went through during her failed marriage likely has led her to speak out against him. Giselle has no problem finding a man. It's whether or not she doesn't want one. I feel like a lot of what she has said that made her uncomfortable is because of her shit her ex-husband did to her, and I can understand that. I get that, he reasoned. Just tell me, because if you would have told me that, I would have said, I totally get it, I understand, that's fine. He then added, does Giselle want me? In no way, shape, or form do I think Giselle wants anything to do with me. Earlier this month, while appearing on reality TV with the King's podcast, Carlos King, Giselle opened up about her allegations against Candace's husband. That evening, Chris was very drunk at the point of that night. We could have talked in the hallway. I didn't get why he wanted to go to my room, she explained. So once we were there, it just made me feel uncomfortable. I've never said this man lured me. I've never said he preyed on me. I never said that I was accusing him of sexual assault. And that's where the article ends. All right. So here's my thing. I don't think Chris or Candace want to sue Giselle because defamation is very hard to prove, but I feel like they probably could prove it with the way they got all this evidence from Bravo. But when you start to add legal ramifications in reality shows, most of the time it hinders the person that is trying to do or trying to sue or trying to press charges because it impedes on filming. I do believe Chris. I do believe if Giselle would have told Chris or Candace before filming that, hey, that like you coming to talk to me made me feel uncomfortable, I think he probably would apologize and been like, you know what, I'm sorry about that. But the way in which Giselle is going about it now, it's like you'll never get an apology from anybody. And when Giselle says, I never said he lured me, I never said he preyed upon me, you alluded to it. Like, let's not play those games. When you spoke to Robin about it, Giselle, you unequivocally said, oh, he was trying to see if I was with it. I think he was trying to see if I was with it. You then referred to the man as a sneaky link. You knew what you were doing. You basically did say, that's saying that the man preyed upon you. You basically said he was trying to see if you was going to be with something happening between y'all. And then you have kept the conversation going with now making up this story about this man inappropriately touching you. So it's like, no, not touching you, but touching somebody else. So you're adding fuel to the fire yourself. We then have Candace responding or having something to say this morning where she said, if you will lie about sexual assault, you have lied and will continue to lie about anything. That's the last thing I have to say for now. So then somebody underneath said, this can't be about Giselle because she didn't accuse him of sexual assault. And then Chris responded to this person by saying, did you not watch the last week's episodes? And it's true. I think a lot of y'all don't have a grasp or understanding of what qualifies as sexual assault. Because when we think about it, we think about like, the real, the R word when it comes to that. But sexual assault can be anybody touching you without your consent in any bodily way and trying to do it in a romantic or sexual way. Them suggesting that he was touching and grabbing on someone's butt without without that person's consent, or even just alluding to it that he touched this lady and she didn't feel comfortable with it, or he was trying somebody, that's messed up. It is. And even if you still like Giselle or you still like any of these women on this cast, you have to call a thing. And honestly, she out of pocket. She out of pocket. She been out of pocket when it comes to Candace. Ever since she said it was okay for Mia to go upside Candace's head at the reunion. Just because Candace was saying using fighting words when she said yo mama. So it is what it is, y'all. But that's it. That's all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.